Welcome back to my series Uber driver tips and Lyft driver tips, where I give you Uber tips and Lyft tips to help you make more money, get higher ratings, and overall have a way better time driving for Uber and driving for Lyft. This is honestly one of the most important ones on this entire series, and that is hire a tax accountant. Now I know tax season's upon us right now, at least at the exact time of this video, and I know a lot of people are like, hey Mark, I'm gonna go to Uber and Lyft. They have deals on tax software. I'm just going to use TurboTax or another tax software. Do not do it. The reason why is when it comes to taxes, and for me, in case you don't know, I'm a former accountant, but I do want to say I'm a former accountant, but I'm not your accountant. Just got to say that. Everybody's situation is different. So on these tax softwares, that kind of give you like a generalization when it comes to your deductions and all the itemized deductions you're going to be taking. Remember, because you are an independent contractor, driving for Uber and Lyft, you do what's called itemized deductions as opposed to a standard deduction. In plain speak, your taxes are more complicated, and part of that is the fact that you're going to do what's called write-offs. So all the expenses you're going to incur during the year, you're going to be writing them off, and each type of expense has its own kind of unique financial model of how much you can write off when it comes to that specific expense. If this sounds a bit complicated and tricky, that's because in a lot of cases it is, and it can be very overwhelming. Even for me as a former accountant, I still hire a tax accountant to do my taxes. I pay him $250 to do my taxes, and I promise you, yes, well, $250 is more than using a tax software, even with the Uber and Lyft discount. I save way more money overall because he knows exactly my financial situation, and he knows exactly what to write off, how to write it off, and he can figure out all the details that a traditional tax software is just going to overlook. Because remember, when it comes to your taxes, there is a gray area in a lot of situations. And when it comes to tax softwares, they take the safest bet. They're like, look, we don't know about this and this, so we're just going to say you can write off this amount. But when it comes to a tax accountant, they can analyze that gray area a lot more specifically and say, oh, you know what? You want to do this and this, but because of this that you're doing, you can write off this amount. You can write off this much more than a traditional tax software. At the end of the day, especially because you are an independent contractor, make sure you hire a tax accountant. It's one of the most important things any driver can do.